Jeep's ride in India has been remarkable. Ever since the launch of Compass in 2017, Jeep has been growing in India well. It has expanded its portfolio by releasing Wrangler Rubicon in 2020, with India being the only market outside US where this beast is manufactured locally. This year, they unveiled Meridian, which is a 7-seater version of Compass to compete against Fortuner, and only recently unveiled Grand Cherokee for India to compete in the premium segment. Now it's time for Jeep to enter the hotly contested subcompact SUV segment around 10 lakh rupees, where the likes of Tata Nexon and Maruti Suzuki Brezza dominate the segment. Jeep unveiled Avenger, its subcompact SUV, at the 2022 Paris Auto Show in October. If Jeep plans to bring this car to India, it could shake the subcompact SUV market and could establish Jeep as a serious player in the segment. This car is the smallest car for Jeep in their global portfolio and will serve a segment below Jeep Renegade. And not only that, this car also marks Jeep's entry into EV space. In India, this car would compete against the likes of Maruti Suzuki Brezza, Tata Nexon, Mahindra XUV 300, Hyundai Venue, Kia Sonet, Nissan Magnite and Renault Kiger. Phew, that's a tough competition. Honda is also expected to release its updated WRV next year, which means competition is going to get even more intense. Now, without wasting any time, let's get familiarized with this SUV. Jeep Avenger is built on PSA Group's common modular platform, since Jeep and PSA are both owned by the Stellantis Group. This platform is also used by Citroen's C3, specifically CC21 version, which was created for Indian and South American markets. Since C3's common modular platform has already been localized for India, this means Avenger could easily be produced by Jeep at a lower cost in India. The electric version of Jeep Avenger is built on the eCMP platform. An electric version of Citroen's C3 built on the same common modular platform has been spotted several times in India while testing on the public roads. This opens a possibility for Jeep to release an electric version of Avenger to compete against Tata Nexon EV Max and Mahindra's upcoming XUV 400. In terms of dimensions, this car has a length of 4076 mm, width of 1780 mm, height of 1530 mm and a wheelbase of 2600 mm. With respect to competition, we observe that Avenger is longest in the segment and is larger than 4 meters, which means it won't get a tax exemption which cars having length under 4 meters get. Something that Jeep will need to think about if they need to price Avenger aggressively. Jeep could re-engineer Avenger to shorten its length by at least 77 mm for this car to fall under the subsidy bracket. It is not the widest car in the segment, but isn't the narrowest either. The height of the car is the shortest in the segment, but this could again change for India depending on the suspension and tire setup. It has at least a 100 mm longer wheelbase than any other car in the segment, which means loads of space inside for passengers. In terms of ground clearance, Avenger has a ground clearance of 200 mm, which is again not the highest in the segment like Nexon, but is also not the lowest in comparison to the competition like XUV 300. In fact, Avenger has higher ground clearance than even its elder brother Compass, which only has a ground clearance of 179 mm, which means that it is more than sufficient. In terms of weight, we don't have any official figures, but this car will roughly weigh around 1200 to 1300 kilograms, since cars from Jeep are usually on the heavier side. We know that Avenger EV with a 54 kWh battery would weigh around 1600 kilograms. Just for comparison, Tata Nexon EV Max with 40 kWh battery weighs around 1400 kilograms. Now let's talk about the engine. Avenger in Europe is powered by only one petrol engine. This is PSA's 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine which only produces 100 horsepower. The same 1.2 liter turbo engine also powers Citroen's C3 in India. This engine produces 110 horsepower and 205 Nm of torque in C3 for India. And this is the engine which I think would most likely power this car in India, since it is already been manufactured here and has been adapted for BS6 regulations by Citroen. And with respect to competition, this engine performs very well. PSA's 1.2 turbo engine is only outshined by Mahindra's latest turbo petrol, which only recently got a boost with a new direct fuel injection system. With 110 horsepower and 205 Nm of torque, this car would certainly be very punchy to drive and would certainly give Nexon and turbo models of Sonnet and Venue a run for their money. Jeep could also use the non-turbo engine from Citroën C3 to power the lower spec trims to compete against lower spec engines from Hyundai, Kia and Renault Nissan. This is a 1.2-liter naturally aspirated engine which produces 81 horsepower and 115 Nm of torque. Just like the competition, this is also a 3-cylinder engine. We know that Tata, Mahindra and Suzuki only offer one petrol engine for their cars and there is no lower spec engine for lower models. This 1.2-liter engine is very similar to the 1.2-liter engine of its Korean siblings in terms of power specification and is much better than Renault Nissan's non-turbo engine. Even though this engine won't be the best, this would be a good alternative for people on a tight budget. People have liked this engine a lot in Citroën C3. This would help Jeep in pricing this car competitively. I don't think there would be a diesel engine offered by Jeep since BS6 regulations have driven most of the manufacturers away from diesel engines, especially in compact cars. In terms of gearbox options, we could expect a 6-speed manual. While there is no official word on automatic transmission, we can expect it to be a 8-speed automatic transmission which is also used in other cars built on this common modular platform and using similar engines such as Peugeot 2008 and Opel Mokka. They also have the option to use the 7-speed DCT gearbox from the petrol version of Jeep Compass. Apart from petrol, this car is also expected to be an EV as well, just like Tata Nexon and Mahindra XUV 400. This car has a 54 kWh battery with 154 horsepower and 260 Nm of torque. It would have a range of around 400 km. It would support up to 100 kW of fast charging as well. This would make it very competitive against the competition. It would have the largest battery size in the segment, even higher than the bigger MG ZS EV, and would also have more power than Nexon and XUV 400 and would also support a decent range in the ballpark with the competition. If priced correctly, Jeep Avenger could very well succeed as an EV in India as well, since people are growing conscious about their personal carbon footprint. Apart from that, Jeep also showcased Avenger 4xe concept, wherein this SUV would feature two electric motors powering both front and rear wheels, making it an all-wheel drive. It would also feature better off-roading aesthetics. Being all-wheel drive, this version would be better suited for slippery conditions than the standard Avenger EV. Now let's come back to the petrol version of Avenger. In terms of fuel tank capacity, Avenger has a fuel tank capacity of 45 liters. Which is exactly equal to the Korean siblings of Venue and Sonnet, and is slightly higher than Nexon, XUV 300, Magnite and Kiger, but slightly less than Brezza. Avenger has a boot capacity of 380 liters, which is very similar to the competition and is only outmatched by Sonnet with 392 liters and Kiger with 405 liters. In terms of tire specifications, Jeep Avenger comes with a tire size of 215/55 R18 in Europe, and I think we could get 215/60 R17 considering the conditions of our roads, since a bigger sidewall would absorb rough roads better and will give a better fuel economy as well. In comparison to the competition, even the smaller size 17-inch rims would be the biggest in the segment, and it will have the highest cross section exactly equal to Brezza and Korean siblings, which I think would give it a very good ride quality, especially in corners. Do note that this is a comparison of top spec trims of all the models, and this could differ for lower variants for all the mentioned cars. In terms of fuel efficiency, both 1.2-liter turbo engine and 1.2-liter naturally aspirated engine return a mileage of 19 according to the ARAI in mixed conditions for Citroën C3. So we can expect a mileage of around 16 to 18 kmpl in mixed conditions for Avenger, since the car would have bigger tires and would be heavier as well. Till now, we have learned that this car has a very punchy engine, amazing practicality in terms of space and good fuel economy as well. Since this car would have Jeep's DNA, I would expect it to have great ride quality, especially on rough roads. So now let's discuss about all the bells and whistles in terms of features that this car offers. From the front, it has Jeep's signature 7-slot grille along with LED headlamps with DRLs. At the rear, it has X-shaped LED tail lights, and the whole car is wrapped with black cladding to give it more rugged and off-road look. The side view is more enhanced by the inclusion of diamond cut alloy wheels. In the interior, the car has a big 10.25-inch entertainment display with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, along with a 10.25-inch TFT driver's display for all the driving parameters. Along with that, the car has dual zone climate control just like XUV 300. Apart from that, Avenger also has rain sensing wipers, leather seats and steering, hands-free powered tailgate, wireless charging and 360-degree parking camera. The dashboard of the car comes with yellow and black color theme along with the multicolored ambient lights. The interior has similarities with its elder sibling Compass, which is not a bad thing. In terms of colors, we don't have much information, but from a commercial, they have shown yellow and grey colors for this car along with the option of a black roof. But we can assume more color options to be available apart from these two as well. In terms of safety, the car will likely get 6 airbags, ABS with EBD and ESP. The car will likely also include hill hold technology, while Jeep confirmed the availability of terrain modes for the traction in slippery conditions along with the hill descent control. In Europe, this car also comes with level 2 autonomous driving features such as adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, auto emergency braking, blind spot monitoring and front collision warning. Though I think this won't come to India since Jeep doesn't offer this technology in the more expensive Compass and Meridian. The Jeep Avenger hasn't been tested by Euro NCAP or any other crash test agency around the world, though we can assume this car to be safe as Peugeot 2008 2nd Gen, which was built on common modular platform, scored 4 stars in Euro NCAP in 2019 with 91% score in adult safety, 84% score in child safety, 62% score in pedestrian safety and 68% score in safety assist. And we all know from Jeep's other cars in India how well built and safe they are. In terms of pricing, if Jeep is able to bring this car under 4 meters, the non-turbo variant could be offered around 8 to 9 lakh rupees, while the turbo model could be priced from 11 lakh rupees ex-showroom. While it is a long shot, I would expect EV version to be above 18 lakh rupees at least if Jeep brings that model to India. So what's my verdict? Should Jeep bring the Avenger to India? Certainly. This is a strong business case for this car. Many in India love Jeep as a brand and want to own one. But the Jeep Compass is out of reach for most Indians. And with PSA's engines already being manufactured by Citroën, Jeep could easily price this car competitively in India. It is a very good product all round. Whether it be engine, practicality or features, with Jeep's DNA, I believe it will be one of the best off-roading cars in this segment, which is why I think it will surely give strong competition to other cars in this segment. Really excited to see if Jeep brings this beauty to India or not. So that was the video guys. Let me know down in the comments below whether you are excited to see Jeep Avengers on Indian roads or not, and whether you would consider this car for buying yourself as a consumer. Do share your thoughts. Be sure to hit that like button and share this video to your fellow petrol heads. It would really help me in creating more such amazing videos for you guys. If you like watching these kinds of videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out more such amazing videos there. I am sure you would find definitely something interesting to watch there. See you soon in a future video. Goodbye.